So welcome today to this video of my Ford Flathead 226 cubic inch 1951. Today we'll be taking off the carburetor since it's full of crud, it's leaking on all its gaskets. So we're going to take it apart, clean it, and try and make some new gaskets and make it functional again. Oh, and I forgot to say, this brand of this carburetor is a Ford, original Ford carburetor. So it's turned out to be a bit of a long video, so sorry for that, and if it's boring, just fast forward. There we go. Seemed that it was sealing very well. Okay, let's break down this carburetor to start. And also look at this gasket. It is completely falling apart. I wonder how this was sealing off, but okay, we'll make new ones. We'll take the carburetor apart first. We'll take it apart, because if you look here, the gasket is gone. It's not supposed to be. There's supposed to be a gasket there. Okay, well, at least we did get everything working, all the linkages, but let's take a look inside. Look, you think any designer would only put screws from the top in, but look, there is one over there.
Sneaky little bastard.
Yeah, if you try and open it, you could crack. Come on, get off. Okay. See how this works? How interesting. So this is how you link, because this clamps it in place, and then it locks itself around the stem.
Oh.
See, that's smart.
Yeah.
These smart little.
A smart little system.
Yeah, smart little ideas. How here we go. Well, it's not that dirty. The gasket is pretty crappy. Okay, let's get the float out.
That's a fancy looking float.
It's nice, huh?
It's very different from modern floats.
Okay, I don't hear anything. It should be still fine. Looks good. So we have the gasket. We should make a new one. Oh my. Huh? Okay, that's the float pole. But this is, look how it shrunk.
Yeah. That
is not sealing. Oh my. And it's delaminated, or we have more than one. I think it's, oh, weird. Oh, this is the accelerator pump. So it should.
Right.
Well, there's still action, and there's still sound. It's probably leaking. Okay, let's break it down. Oh, wow. Look what a funny function this has. This is a choke, but there's a valve in the choke valve. Spring loaded. Oh, okay. This is the, you know what this is? Fuel comes in here. So it passes in here into the float chamber. And then the float comes up and it pushes on this, the stop, and this stops the flow. So try it. Yeah, works fine. But it's a loose fit, but it does fit. It doesn't stay in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's one. Is this a screw out, or is this just? Why do I have the feeling it's bent? Because it's at an angle.
Oh.
See that? But why or how? This turns. Yeah. Your eyes are better without glasses. Where is mine?
No, you think it's bent because the spring is around it, but it's not straight around it because it's a spring and it's loose.
Is it?
Because this goes like this, the spring, so then it looks
right
really crooked, but I think it's...
Can we get it out?
All right. I don't know if we can get it out.
Come on. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Actually, no, it is bent.
Is it?
Yeah. Look at this. When you turn it,
Right. Okay.
it's going everywhere.
Huh. I'm sure it should not be bent. Oh, ah. Oh, I see. We can take this further apart.
I don't know.
Even further. Let's see.
Even further?
Yeah. Let's say. Oh, that's interesting. Huh.
What?
And this screw is loose.
Mm.
But this is like... The carburetor is...
This one. Still.
Anyway, I found 3 gaskets in between the 2 halves of the carburetor. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, but I did not intend to put 3 in, but we'll check if it's level. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but this is high. There's a high spot here. Like it's bent over like this. Let's see the housing itself. Well, that's flat. So I think we'll have to level this one off. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Anyway, all of the gaskets, by the way, they don't fit. They're shrunk. Here we go. Here we go. So they're all shrunk. As you can see, they're inside here of the here as well. Here they're all the way inside. So they're now good. We have to make a new one anyway. Now I need to get this little bolt off. Nut off to get this to split the carburetor. Let's see. Okay. Let me check this out. Yeah, this seems to be one piece, but that is not. Okay, here we go. That one's off. My, there is a huge buildup here. Rust and crud. Can we zoom in on this? I guess we can. There is a lot of crap. Okay, we'll have some cleaning to do. This whole barrel is full of... Okay, this is the pump function. And I wonder if this gasket is sealing correctly. It seems to have sealed correctly, but I still would like to get that off. Okay, and there's a little gasket there. And that is of this, the leg, I guess. Or was it this way around? Ah, it was this way around. Okay. Okay, we've got it. We can put back. So that's something we have to clean. That's all to do with the acceleration pump. Okay. Let's take a look at the rubber is still flexible. It's probably still doing something. There's a spring inside, as I see. And then we have this. And this is the idle screw, I guess. Well, we can check how far it was in or out. Half, 1, 1.5, 2. Oops. Okay, so a little over 2. Let's see what this looks like. Well, that doesn't look too bad. The hole's open. Is there play on the axle? Yeah, there is, but not that much. In the choke, there is a spring-loaded valve which you can open. Interesting. So, and this is to see how not flat we are with these carb halves. So on a flat surface with some sandpaper, and in this case I'm starting pretty rough, 240. Yeah, we have some low spots there and there. Overall, it's not too bad. Well, I'm touching almost everywhere now. So that looks, it's just there and it's here. So let's continue a little bit longer. The other half will be the real issue. Okay. So it's still there. Oh, I'm pretty happy with this. Pretty happy. The biggest problem will be this one. This is all high. This is very low. And I don't think... could we heat this and then bend it a little bit? But that is so tricky. See? It's huge. I don't know how this has happened. Yeah, I could try with heat. Shall I dare? Why not? Unfortunately, I lost the sound here. I heated it before and it did do something. It became a little bit more flat. So here I'm checking out the the low points, and I'm contemplating if I would put some more heat in and try and bend it a little bit over. It's the flat part that is the most bent away. So I'm testing it up on the bottom half of the carb, and there's still quite a bit of a gap in between, too much for the gasket to take. So my decision was to try and heat it again, or not try, heat it again, and then bend it, carefully bend it over. So I'm just sanding it a little bit. That gave up the points, but here I'm heating it again, and it's very brittle. You have to be very careful. It's a cast aluminum or aluminium. So I'm heating it up so as to make it a little bit more resilient to break. And then I will, actually I did it with my hand, just hitting it, trying to control my force and the impact on the carb. And that's how I did it. And of course, after the manipulating of the piece, then I still had to sand down the high spots to get it as flat as possible. First on 240 and then on 400 grit. It worked. It took some elbow grease, but it does work. And finally, I offered it up to the carb, the bottom half, and we have a very nice fit. And of course, this wasn't done quick. This took me hours to get this together. But here we have the two halves, and I'm showing it that it is a perfect fit. Both surfaces mate together perfectly on every edge with the gasket in between. So tightening the screws won't do it even better, but it was an almost seamless fit. So I don't know how this happened to this carburetor, but it's flat now, and it only needs a very thin gasket to make it seal correctly. This is the bottom part of the carburetor, because it's in 3 stages or 3 levels of aluminum pieces stacked on top of each other. And here this gasket also shrunk, and as I'm trying to show you here, it shrunk so much that it would let in air from outside into this channel. And this channel, I don't know exactly what it does, but it all has to do with delivering the right amount of fuel and air mixture. But for sure, if a gasket is not sealing off a channel, then you will not have a good mixture. So the next couple of hours were spent making new gaskets. I luckily have a whole box of all kinds of thickness of gasket material that I've collected from when I was tinkering on little mopeds and up until the cars that followed, and I've been giving a lot of gaskets, and I picked up gaskets whenever I can get gasket material at a boot sale. I will buy it and just put it in my collection. And here we're just doing the dirty finger method on trying to copy the gasket as correctly as possible, and then cutting them out. And it just takes a long time. And of course, you break one when you're almost done, if it's a very thin one, as in between the top 2 halves, inevitably. So it always takes more time than you think. But it's a mindful job. I did find out that these carburetors are actually built by Holley. That's a Holley carburetor, and I have to say they're pretty well made. Now, how they function, I have no clue, but they're very intricate. This should do it. And you look at the the different size. Now this one was out here, open to the float bowl, almost out here. Definitely a huge leak here since this was pulled in. So this should do it if I clean it up a little bit here. Okay, let's first get the float in there. Okay. Oh, we have to put this one in first as well. This goes in here, and this needs to be we have to deform the heads, or this rim here, so it stays in. Do I have a good punch for that? I don't really, but I can do it with this, I'm sure. Okay, already wants to stay. Okay, that's in him. Let's get him in. And then we have an almost refurbished carb. So it's all tight. As you can see, it's nicely seated. I don't see any gaps, not that I was expecting any after the sanding. Now we have the one last gasket remaining. So I didn't film too much of that anymore. So that was a simple, straightforward gasket that here you see me cleaning it up, and I made a new one. Here's the Ford USA carburetor. So, and as we saw in the teardown, it has a bottom piece with the idle mixture, and then it goes up to the float bowl, and it has the top piece, the air intake. So yeah, and then I have this line I'm going to put in there and have that little gas tank mounted higher than the carb, so it's just a gravity feed, and then we'll run it for longer. But then of course I have to put some water cooling on it as well. So yep, a little bit of a long video, maybe boring for some, but yeah, it is what it is. And the next one will be starting the engine. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So then, whilst looking at on the internet on the Ford carburetors, I found out that it actually is a Holley carburetor that builds them for Ford. I found this picture of a refurbished carburetor from a established company selling them, and look at the picture in detail. Look at the amount of gaskets that they put in between the top and the float bowl. I was kind of dumbfounded.